discussions that would uplift us as regards our career and even develop us personally. So this is really a privilege. We say thank you to Get Jobs. Thank you, Engineer Bamdele Idris, for this wonderful opportunity. So today, by way of introduction, my name is Mohsin Idowu, and I'm going to be your host for the day. So today we shall be discussing around moderation, the art of moderation. So what's the art of moderation? Why is it essential to us? Before now, while some of us saw the flyers on the social media platform, we might have been having this burning question in us that why is it essential to us job seekers to master the art of moderation? Why is it important to us? This might have been a question running through us before now that we so much seek answers to. So today we shall learn that, and we know why it is important to us, why we really need to master this art and this skill. So to take us through this discussion today is a subject matter expert, someone that's really passionate about this. This is something she does so well. So we are not going to be learning theories this time. We are going to be putting that to use and see how it's really going to it's really been done in the Western world and in the professional way. So let me give a brief of who our discussant will be for the day. So our discussant is groundbreaker Ayanda Moropane. She is the founder of Mindz Connect, a strategic HR consultancy which supports organizational development. She's also an experienced moderator. I'm passionate about people development and particularly youth development in Africa. In addition, she coaches and mentors professionals seeking to find purpose and fulfillment in their career. So this is just a brief, so we get to have an insight into whom our discussant for the day is. So by this, the presentation will go for the next 60 minutes. And after then, we'll be having question and answers for 30 minutes. So let's endeavor to, while the discussion is going on, I seek our indulgence. Should we have questions, you can drop them on the chat field. So the questions will be taken from there, and then we attended to at the time for question and answers. So, and also we shouldn't forget the ground rules. So let's put all our microphones on mute, except for my own. I will be communicating. So aside for us, no other microphones should be on mute, so that we would be able to, guard against all forms of interference. So let's endeavor that we do that. It is for us to get the best out of this discussion. And also, let's not forget to follow Get Jobs on the social media platform. We follow Mindz Connect, Masterclass Initiative, so that promptly we are going to be getting updates and report as regards sessions that would make us better, sessions that would uplift us career-wise. So at this point, I would be welcoming again our discussant, Mrs. Ayanda Moropane, while she takes us through the presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow, thank you, Mohsin. Hi, everyone. It's so good to be back for a second session. As you recall, the first session we had some technical difficulties, so we really wanted to redo the session for those of you who missed out. And today's actually quite special because Mohsin was one of the attendees or participants from the previous session, and we've had some, time and opportunity, him and myself, for him to get some personal coaching to get him ready, because he was very committed and this is something that he wants to do. So I think all of you should actually give him a round of a hand, because I think he's done this very well. Congratulations, Mohsin, on your debut as a moderator. So if any of you, like he said, want to know why it's important, if I show you the videos before and after, you'll be so amazed at the difference between when he started. He's smiling because it's true. When he started versus now, such a difference, because he really incorporated what he learned. And we also had some one-on-one time, which I've offered to people who are committed, who are interested, that if you really want to learn public speaking, you really want to be better at this, I'm available to help you and support you. Congratulations, Mohsen. Thank you, Engineer Idris, for giving him the opportunity to make his debut on this session. So actually appropriate for him to moderate the session, and he's done such an amazing job. So well done to you, Mohsen. And welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for attending the session today. I hope that you'll find it informative. I hope that it'll help you. And I hope that whatever aspirations you have, you'll get a step closer through because of the training that we're going to go through today. I'm going to share my screen now and share the presentation. And I just wanted to, guys, on the chat, to just tell me, how was your Independence Day? You know, what did you do for Independence Day? How did you enjoy your Independence Day? You can unmute and tell us. I would love to know, as I'm about to share the screen just before we start. Tell us about your Independence Day. Was it great? Who wants to tell us? Come on, guys, don't be shy.
If you want to speak, you can just.
Let me choose at random. Let me choose at random. Olorun Toba, how was your Independence Day? I've muted Olorun Toba. Okay. Then Augustina. I've muted you, Augustina. I think we have some shy people here.
Don't be shy, guys. Come on. How was your Independence Day?
We have quite a number of shy people here. Augustina.
Okay, no one is comfortable to share. No problem.
Okay, Olabisi Ario.
I know yours was. I know. Engineer was working. So what can I say?
Yes. I was working. That was how I spent my Independence Day.
It was okay.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
Independence Day
okay.
was okay.
It was just okay. Just okay.
Nothing extraordinary. Nothing extraordinary.
Oh, that's not good. I like extraordinary. Next time, inshallah, it will be extraordinary.
Can we see your face?
Right.
Can we see your face, Olabisi Ario?
All right. Okay.
And Augustina, can we see your face?
Okay.
Yes. So you said it was just okay, nothing, it wasn't special. There wasn't anything special.
Nothing special.
Augustina, are you saying there's nothing special at your hand too? Good afternoon.
Yeah. There's nothing special, sir, but Independence Day was great, sir.
Wow. Wow. 60 years of independence. It should be something awesome.
Yes.
So Augustina.
Actually, it was supposed to...
Yes, Augustina, you were saying something.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
All right, I said, sir, it was supposed to be awesome, but we don't have anything to make us celebrate right now, presently.
Wow. Are you serious?
Roads are bad, the economy is bad, so many things are really bad. So they are supposed to be put in check, sir.
Okay. Ayanda, there's something, you know, an average Nigerian will say that. Now, but the lovely things I want you to look at is that for the fact that you are alive in this country, for the fact that you are not in Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan or in war-torn areas of the world, you should give thanks. You should be so happy that we are 60 years old. We are not in civil war. So let's still be thankful. So those negative things, let us put them aside and look at the bright side of things. I hope you understand.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. That's why I said it was great, sir.
Okay. So I hands up. I'm not the facilitator.
Okay. Anyway, for some of you, it was a great long weekend. So I'm happy to hear that some of you enjoyed. And hopefully by the end of this, Augustina, your mood will be much more better. Yeah, you'll have something to look forward to. You'll be more hopeful. We hope. Okay, so today we're going to talk about learning to facilitate and moderate. As I said, we shared this before. We had the session before, so this is like a repeat session. but the difference this time is that I want to have a few more practical examples to support you to understand. And I'm glad I have Mohsin with me, because then Mohsin we can role play with him and help you understand. You know, in some of the coaching we did, we can role play, and I can share with you some of the, you know, techniques live. So first of all, I want to just share with you, for those of you who are not aware who I am. He gave a great introduction. So my name is Ayanda Moropane. I'm originally from South Africa. I call myself a visionary missionary because I believe all of us have been called on the earth, or been brought to this earth for a purpose, for a reason greater than just ourselves. And we need to, you know, endeavor to live our life purposefully. My background is HR, and I'm very, you know, strong in the strategic HR and operational HR. And I've worked with some really amazing organizations who have helped to develop me in that area. I'm a founder of Mindz Connect, an strategic HR consultancy. I'm based here in Dubai, in the UAE. I know a lot of you are interested in how to manage to get here. And you know, how I managed to get to Dubai, actually, it's interesting. Engineer, the topic that they discussed yesterday, you know, the webinar that was Urena and Callum discussed yesterday, and how you can migrate to another country.
Yes.
How I managed to come to the UAE was that I was working actually for a multinational, and they promoted me and moved me to Dubai. So that's how, so that's one of the actually the best ways to be able to migrate, if that's your desire, is find a local subsidiary of a multinational, like they mentioned, and work hard, and you will have the opportunity. If you stand out and work hard and really showcase your skills, you have a bigger chance of being migrated or transferred to, you know, an international territory. So it was interesting they mentioned that, because that was my experience. I do career coaching to support people's development, as you've seen with Mohsin. His desire to become more of a public speaker. So I do a lot of that professionally as well, with professionals who are probably stuck in the area of discipline and want more out of that. And I do moderating. And how I got into moderating was through a Health International Business School, where I did my MBA. And again, how you stand out, how you project yourself to people, the kind of relationships you develop will help actually lead you into some of these areas of interest and open doors for you. So that's very important to keep in mind. You have my website, Mindz Connect. You can check it out, follow me on social media, and keep in touch. And if there's anything I can support you in, I'm really happy to do that. I do speaking as well, event speaking. So I've done quite a few conferences here where I speak to senior leaders like CEOs and HR heads, HR VPs, HR directors on issues pertaining to the HR space, and particularly strategic HR. So I've also chaired, because of how I've, you know, projected myself and how I'm very passionate about my field. They call me sometimes to be a chairperson for those events. A chairperson is basically not only a speaker, but a facilitator, host, and speaker. So it's quite a big responsibility. And when you get to be at that level, you know, it gives credibility to your skill set and also your profile. I've worked in multi-industries, which is, again, one of the key ways of helping yourselves to stand out. So I've worked in financial services for hedge fund, listed hedge fund. I worked in FMCG for multinational. That multinational is the one that actually transferred me to Dubai. I worked in retail, clothing retail and beauty retail, and now I'm also in consulting. So when you have diversity across industries and sectors, it can actually make you much more attractive to potential employers. So keep that in mind. How I got to learn that is from Sheryl Sandberg. She used to be, you know, the COO of Facebook. And I remember in one of her books, she said, for her, she always wanted to be multi-industry, not just stay in one industry, because that helps you to have much more, you know, breadth across your skill set. So keep that in mind. I'm just giving you some career tips just to keep in mind. For whatever you have an aim in life, think of these things and how they will help you to progress forward. So that's a bit about me. So as I said, rated speaker, as I've spoken at some very high profile events, and I really shared on some critical and well received. And when I say rated, so what happens at these events is that they have your peers have to rate you. They have a scorecard system where they have to rate you, because they need to have the key speakers who are, their top best, who they can call upon to, when they have these events, that they know that they will always deliver, because that draws the crowd, that gives them credibility, and that makes the event a success. So I've been highly rated by my own peers whenever I've been facilitating, hosting, or presenting on a topic. As I mentioned how I got into moderation. I worked with some of professors from HALT, and they basically, approached me and said, we want you to moderate some of our industry, business conversations, especially during this pandemic time where everything is done online. We want to talk to business about what's happening, support business with insights, and we want you to moderate. So this is how actually I ended up doing this. And because I had the previous experience as a facilitator speaker, moving online was kind of almost like a natural step. And it helped me, obviously, to the previous face-to-face, helped me to build that rapport with the audience. So this is the background of how I became a moderator. So let's get into what is a moderator. Yeah, what is a moderator? I put their photos of well-known TV anchors and personalities. Most of them are comfortable being moderators because this is what they do on a day-to-day basis. But this doesn't mean that you as a person cannot be a moderator, okay? So moderator is not necessarily these individuals only, but moderator is also me and you who have an opportunity to do public speaking, who's required to do training. So this is important to understand that moderation is not just simply because you're talking to a group of people, whether you're public speaking, whether you're in a panel, whether you're doing a team building event, moderation skills are critical in those settings. So a moderator is somebody that hosts an event. So normally an event where there's a speaking or there's people involved who will be discussing a particular topic or subject. They manage the agenda program for the session, okay? So the moderator is the one. The last time someone asked a very good question, is it the moderator's job or facilitator? No, it's the moderator's role to manage the agenda for the program. And we'll get into those details in a bit. So for example, you saw when we started, most of us actually opened up, right? The session. So that's the job of the moderator. That's the role. They have to open up the session. They have to be the one to manage the program and the agenda. They introduce the speaker. So he introduced me as the speaker, as the facilitator. So their role to know who I am, what I do, and introduce me, with understanding. So one of the worst things is when you have a moderator who doesn't know the speaker or the facilitator, and they get there and someone asks a question, is it not just okay to say, hi, everyone, welcome. We have the session today. Here is the facilitator. No, that's boring. You don't need any skills to do that. And moderators are not called upon to just come and tell us the obvious. They're there to ensure that there's an energetic atmosphere, there's interest, there's excitement, to the topic or discussion or debate or panel that will be taking place that day. They ensure the audience participates. For example, the speakers, facilitators, speakers, we're normally so busy worried about the content or thinking about the flow of our presentation. We don't have time to witness what the audience is going through. So moderator is important to assess, how is the audience taking this? Are the audience still interested? Is the audience bored? How's the audience reacting to this facilitator? So that's the role of the moderator, and to ensure that they involve the audience. So Q&A, question and answer section. The moderator's job is to make sure they get the questions out there, they trigger the audience to ask questions, and they even initiate the question and answer if the audience is a bit shy. They manage the time. And I put NB next to it because that's very important for a moderator to manage the time, because as he's mentioned when he started, my presentation needs to be 60 minutes. So he needs to make sure that within the 60 minutes, I complete my presentation. So moderators need to ensure that speakers get enough time amongst themselves to speak. The audience gets enough time, but the program is within a set time. Because what happens when you go over time, and when you go over time and you don't stick to the time, you find that maybe some subjects are more, we concentrate on some subjects more than others, then you miss out on a really impactful session. So the most important thing is to keep the time compact so that the session feels fast-paced, exciting, energetic, at the same time as impactful. They're like a thermometer. They need to assess how is the audience taking to the session, to the topic. Are they enjoying it? Are they bored? They need to assess. So face to face, normally a moderator would look at the audience if they're looking bored or confused face to face. But now, since we're online, how does a moderator, check in and see if everything is going well? Well, they check if most people are putting their video on or off. They check if the numbers of a participant keeps going up and down. So they check how things are going, and they check if the moderator, the facilitator, is starting to speak monotonous. So monotonous is like someone who's like, throughout. They have this tone like no excitement, no, So they assess, and maybe they assess also, is the sound quality good? Is the visuals good? So they need to manage all of that. They maintain order in the session. This is important. That's why we have house rules. So a moderator has to share the house rules so that the people know that what is acceptable and not acceptable in the session. The worst thing is that especially now with online moderation, we're seeing, or online webinars and trainings, you have sometimes, if you don't have good security, you have sometimes hackers hacking into the session, and that really can derail the mood and derail the thought process and derail the session. So they need to help to maintain order, ensuring that the house rules are followed, that people don't have background noise interrupting the session. They need to make sure that the breaks are adhered to, and so forth. Then they summarize and highlight the key points and takeaways. So a moderator cannot sleep through the session. So you cannot just come to the session and start, open, introduce the speaker, leave the speaker to speak, and then go to sleep. No, you have to keep engage yourself with the session, because you have to come back and get into the Q&A, throw in something that will trigger the audience, and then come back and summarize key points. You need to be able to engage the facilitator here and there, throwing questions and them challenging them. So it's important that a moderator is always in tune with what is being said during the session, and they keep the discussion focused. This is also another important point. So if you have people who like to speak a lot, what can tend to happen is that they'll talk so much, and then they lose their train of thought, and then they deviate from the subject. Or maybe someone will ask a question and then it goes a different way. They have to make sure that the conversation and the session and the discussion stays within the boundaries of the topic, so that people get to understand what the benefits of this topic is, what's the takeaway, what's the value add. Because if the discussion is not focused, it goes all over the place. You can end up leaving the session saying, I'm not quite sure I understood what happened. So what was the purpose of you coming to that session? So in a nutshell, these are the things that a moderator needs to do. And I think for some of you, maybe before this, you didn't know this, but now you understand being a moderator is not just a very simple job of introducing and going and keeping. No, it's, you have to stay mentally attuned, you have to be engaging, you have to know the content, you have to create focus and help drive the conversation and bring value from the session. That is why when you see the photos of the anchors that I put there, the top photo, those are people who are in the news. They're used to doing this. So that's why people who moderate tend to be professionals who have done a lot of public speaking, or in the news, or have done television shows, or are professional speakers. And you can do it as well. You don't have to be a TV personality or TV anchor to do it. I'm not, but I'm doing it. But it's because it really is a skill. Yeah, so I hope all of you are starting to understand that moderation is truly a skill. It's not just as simple as it looks. Are we all on the same page till now?
Yes, we are.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay,
we
awesome.
are.
Is the session going okay for you?
Yes, we're live on Facebook too.
Amazing. Hi, everyone on Facebook. So we have different formats of moderation, as I alluded to in the previous slide. So you can have a team building session can also require a moderator, someone who makes sure that everyone gets to speak, everyone is clear what is expected of them, what they need to do, how they need to behave, how the team building session is going to be structured, the time. Again, in team building, you also have time for activities, how long each activity will be. So a moderator is also usable in that format. Then you have online, the lady with a cup of coffee. That's what Musin is doing with me, an online moderator who's sitting there having a nice cup of coffee and engaging with the audience virtually. Then you have a panel, which is at the bottom there, where you have a moderator moderating different people. So moderating a session with different speakers and a live audience. So this is one of the challenging ones, because you have to make sure people are heard on the floor, so the audience, and people are heard from the stage, and manage the timings between that everyone gets an opportunity to speak, not just one speaker dominates, and that the conversation is free flowing. And in that kind of setup, can I be honest, that's one challenging one, because it's quite fast. The time when you have lots of speakers, it can go pretty fast, because all of them need to speak. So, and you as a moderator, you really need to be alert and aware, okay, of the topic, of the speakers, and you need to be able to tie in. So one of the skills that as you progress, as you get better, you learn to tie in. So for example, because of the level of experience I have now, I can do an online moderation with 5 different speakers at one time with a virtual audience, and I'm able to tie in. I'll say, oh, well, Nick, you just mentioned this. So, engineer, what do you think about what Nick said? So I'm giving you an example. Do you agree with Nick that when we look into the future, technology is going to be able to replace a lot of the jobs that we're doing? But hang on a second. Linda said this just a few minutes ago, and Linda was disagreeing. Linda, can we go back to what you said? So do you see how that works? So I'm talking to 4 or 5 speakers at the same time. And because I'm listening, I'm alert, I'm present, I'm able to tie in. So it makes the conversation flow. It makes the speakers, even themselves be on their toes. And then it helps the audience to put, to understand the theme and the sequence of the conversation. So those kind of formats, panel, online panel and virtual panel, really need you to be alert. What I said, alert, attentive, really understanding your role as a moderator, because you really have to be in charge and really in control. And some of the times you find that the speakers want to, out of ego, will want to challenge or show each other up. That's where you come in and say, okay, Nick, I think you spoke a lot on that subject. We need to give Ted the opportunity now to counter that, so that we get different perspectives. So you have to be a little bit strong as well to say, hang on, we've heard enough from you. Let's speak to somebody else, but do it diplomatically. But again, that comes with experience, and experience is doing this more and more and doing it in all these different formats. Then you have the last format, which is like a training, speaking, where you have a speaker, a facilitator speaking to a large audience by themselves, maybe doing a presentation, and then getting questions and answers from the audience themselves. They ask, hey, audience, what question do you have? So this is more like even in a lecture hall, or even in a training setup, or you're attending some kind of presentation. So those are the different formats in moderation that you can encounter, the main ones. There can be different ones, but these are the standard ones that you would encounter. And the level of difficulty in terms of, or when I say difficulty, challenge for the moderator, is based on how many speakers you have, how big the audience is, and also the time, how short the time you have to be able to make this an impactful session. So what does a moderator need to do to make their moderation successful? This is something I went through with Mohsin in our coaching, and I stressed this is critical. You saw how he did it. He looked like a natural, right? it doesn't come naturally. It because of you have to follow what I call plan and simple. Okay, plan and simple. So you start off with a checklist. All right, that is very it's plan and simple. That's it. You plan and you execute. It's that simple. And I, even as advanced or professional or experienced, let me put it as I am now, I still try to follow this myself now, because I don't take it for granted that, oh, I know everything. No, you can make a mistake. When you get too complacent and too comfortable, you make, you create an environment where you can make a mistake. So try to always keep to this. You can do it, like, the better you get, you do it quicker. But when you start off, I really urge you, focus. And he was practicing so much, so I was really proud of him for doing that. So first thing is the checklist. All right, checklist is what you start off with. Confirm, reconfirm the date, the time, the topic, the links. And engineer Idris knows, we've had challenges where the link is wrong or the timing is confusing. This is why it's important to plan. Confirm and reconfirm the date, the time, the topic, because things can change, okay? Especially with speakers, things happen all the time. I could want to do a topic today, and I confirm to you, today I'm doing this topic. Then tomorrow I wake up and say, no, actually, I don't want to do this topic. I'm doing a different topic. So reconfirm, confirm the date, the time, the topic. So your checklist will normally have something like, okay, the date, the time, the topic, the speaker or speakers, okay, the venue. So whether it's online, whether it's face-to-face. So the venue is also important. Okay, the timings. So what time to what time, the format, is there sponsors, those things. You need to know what actually is going to be the plan for this particular session or event. All right, so make sure that you have enough time. Why date and time is important is that you need to make sure you have enough time to prepare for the event. So if someone says to me, Ayanda, you need to moderate tomorrow, I can't. I need time to plan. So I would say, no, I need minimum 2 to 3 to 4 days to prepare, right? So you need to know the time, so you know how much time you have to prepare yourself for that event. And in the checklist, you need to check, okay, do I need, I can use my phone, or I need laptop. Will I need a presentation? What do I need? So you create a checklist for yourself to say, okay, I have this, I have that, I know this, I know that, so that way you can then move on to putting together the agenda. Because when you have the time, when you have the day, when you have the speakers, when you have the topic, when you have the venue, when you have the location, when you have the audience, and when you have, the methodology of whether it's online or face-to-face, when you have all those components, then you can put together your agenda. Again, this is key. Someone asked the last time, whose responsibility is the agenda? Is it the moderator or is it the facilitator? The agenda is both the moderator and facilitator's role to put together. But it's the facilitator it's the moderator who initiates this conversation. So because you've been contacted to say, hey, we need you to moderate the session, you then connect with the sponsor or organizer, okay, or the organizer connects with you or sponsor because they need to ask you to moderate. Then you say to them, okay, let's draft the program. So you initiate and say, okay, give me all these details. What time will it start? Okay, what time will it start? What time do what time do the speakers, how much time do the speakers need to each speak? Will we have like breakout rooms in between? Or, so basically the agenda. So we start off with coffee. Then we start off with me as the moderator. Then we do an icebreaker. So you have to know all these things. This is your agenda. Then we do a icebreaker. Maybe we may have a commercial break in between. And then we have the first speaker speaking, then only for 5 minutes. Then after that, I need to then be able to go back to the audience. So that's what your agenda basically tells you the rundown. It's like a schedule. It's different. Remember, the checklist is something, it's not an agenda. The checklist is the items that you need to tick off, that you need to know to help you prepare for the session. The agenda now is on the actual day. what is going to happen. So for example, like if you go to work, I need to wake up at a certain time, be at work at a certain time. At 10 o'clock, I have this meeting. At 11 o'clock, I have this meeting. I have to have lunch. So that's basically the agenda. And the sponsor organizer would draft the program with the moderator, but then the moderator then needs to agree with the speakers or facilitators if they are happy with the order of events. Okay? So the first moderator needs to check with the facilitators or speakers if they are happy with the order of events. This is why it's both the role of the moderator and the facilitator to plan the agenda. Once that is done, then you now need to put together a script. And with Mohsen, I didn't give him a script. I said, Mohsen, you've seen my video. We've talked about what moderation is. We've had some coaching. You go and try and put together a script. Now, what is a script? A script is how on the day you're actually, what you're actually going to say, how you're going to say it. Okay, so you need to put together a script. Someone may think, is it necessary? I mean, this is easy. Believe me, it's not easy. Even the most professional people have a script. It looks natural and easy because they had a script. So, for example, Mohsen, what he said when he opened up, that's his script. It looked easy, how he introduced, how he thought about it, how he put, it's a script. Okay, so you need a script because a script helps you to think logically about how to keep the agenda flowing, right? Most importantly, how do you open up? You say, welcome everyone. I'm so happy to have you to this session today. We're live all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, and we're excited to have you with us. We want to introduce to you wonderful speakers, and we have great sponsors with us today. That doesn't come naturally. You have to put it in writing, practice it, and then it will come naturally. So as a script is very critical. And if you see here what I've got here, I've got here, don't wing it unless you're a professional. I don't know if you understand the terminology winging it. It's an American terminology about winging it means just, taking a chance. All right. Don't wing it unless you're a professional. Don't wing it. Okay, please. Have a script. It'll help you to think logically. If you're not someone who's naturally dynamic, naturally thinks on your feet, and most people who are not moderators are not, if you think of at school, when they asked you to do like stand up and say a poem and stand up and say a free speech, it takes some time. You really need to think about what to say to make it nice, right? To make it flow. So a speech is the same thing. You have to write it down, practice it, let it seem natural. So when you present it on the day, everyone thinks that you just did this naturally, but you know that there's a script and it keeps the flow of the program going very nicely, concisely, clear, and then you add elements like engagement, questions, humor in it because you have room to play around because you know what to say and when to say it and how to say it. Okay, so those are the three critical components in your preparation for the moderation session: checklist, agenda, and script. Plain and simple. Yeah, so I hope we're still together here. Mohsen, how are we doing for time?
Yes, we are still in time.
Okay. Remember, you're in charge of time, not me.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm watching that.
Good. So now that you've got the setup ready, the planning, the setup, which is the planning, let's now go to what makes the magic on the day, okay? We're talking preparation is key. Practice, practice, practice. Mohsen was practicing. For some of you who joined late, Mohsen is our newest addition to the moderating team. He actually contacted me after the first session, said this is what he wants to do. We've been doing some coaching and he's been practicing and he's been taking some of these learnings and incorporating it, and he's really done a fantastic job, and I think he has great potential. So he's been practicing until the last minute. I mean, literally 1 minute before 7 p.m. my time, which is 4 p.m. your time, he was still practicing his script. you know, and that's why it came across. So he was confident, he came across competent, you know, he came across as clear and concise because he was practicing his script. So he practiced. Dress code is very critical. You know, as a moderator, you are not the star. Okay, the star is the program, is the topic and the speakers. However, you are the one that, you know, it's like you put the bow on top. You're like the bow on top, or the cherry on top of the cake, right? You make everything beautiful. You take this beautiful cake that is the speaker, the topic, the location, and, you know, the audience, and then you put the cherry on top. That's the moderator. So don't come to dress up, overshadowing the topic, the conversation. No, you come dressed, you know, professionally and neatly. And, you know, the point is, you're not trying to take the spotlight away from the conversation. You're trying to bring about the best for the audience and the speakers. So dress code, please be neat, be professional. Okay, so I mean, today, as I say, I'm wearing a black shirt, simple, classic, but, you know, very professional. All right, so the same as Mohsen. So just make sure, we're not saying we're designer or anything like that. No, please come dressed professionally. And for some of you who do online, interviews, I've seen that, you know, you don't understand that when you do an online interview, please, again, doesn't mean you have to wear major, like a huge Hugo Boss suit or something. Just come neat, professional, clean, okay, and presentable. That's very important. The next thing is grooming. So, you know, I worked in the beauty industry, so I like makeup. So you'll see me wearing, I like makeup, but I'm not coming with glitter on my face. I'm not coming looking like, you know, I'm a clown. No, keep it nice, clean, fresh, you know, professional. All right. This is not about you. This is about the program. For gents, you know, when you're a moderator, having a huge beard and we can't see your lips, you can't see your eyes, you know, just try to keep it nice, clean. You can have a beard, but just look polished. It's very important that you look polished. And if I go back to the photo of the news anchors, I just want to go back to that. Can you see all of them? Very clean, right? Very clean, very polished. Can you see that top photo? They look clean, they look polished, they look professional. Yeah? Because this is, you want to come across as serious and you want to come across as credible. You can have fun, but you want to come across serious and credible. And then, location. Location is key to know. Is it going to be online? Is it going to be face-to-face? Is it going to be team building? What format is going to be an auditorium or a hall? So this is important for you to know, because then you have to go and see if it's online. Make sure technically you are connected, you have good connectivity, your camera's working, your audio is working, you have the accessibility to that particular platform. So make sure that is all in place. Okay. What we normally do with the masterclass initiative is we have what we call a run through 2 days, a day before we actually have the live sessions with the speakers and the moderators, so we can test if there's a problem. And it's actually worked very well for us, because what we find is that sometimes someone will come and they're not going to use, they test with in a different location with a different computer or device that they're not going to use on the next day. So we're not sure, is it the one that you're going to use the next day, is it going to work or not? So it gives us time to say, look, you need to come back tomorrow morning and test with us, so that we make sure that this is going to work. So that otherwise we'll have a big issue and embarrass ourselves because there'll be technical problems. So this is why a run through is important. So make sure location you're clear. If it's now going to be like a face-to-face auditorium or a workshop setup or team building, go to the venue, see where you're going to be speaking. If you're going to have to do PowerPoint, where's the screen, where's the podium, so you need to see how are you going to sit, how's the tables going to be set up, so that way you know how to connect with the audience, how to speak to the audience, where you need to sit. if you need to move around, how are you going to keep the engagement together? Or if it's a panel on the stage, okay, how big is the stage? How big is and how far is it going to be from the audience? So if I need to speak to the audience, do I need a mic or can project with my voice? How are we going to be sitting? We need to be facing each other, but also be facing the audience. So location is important because, again, the setting is part of what creates the mood, So those are the things that when we talk about preparation that you need to look into. So another trait, so I wanted to give you an example. There is a great tennis player called Björn Borg. I don't know if any of you know him. He's Swedish by nationality. Björn Borg was one of the great tennis players. He is in the Tennis Hall of Fame, all right? He was called the Iceman. What made him so famous is the way he prepared himself for matches. Björn Borg didn't play around. I mean, the guy prepared way in advance, months in advance for the Grand Slam, the big Grand Slams, Wimbledon, French Open, Australia Open, US Open. He prepared way in advance. And his preparation was not just the technical skills of playing tennis, but it was also the mindset of how he prepared himself mentally for these Grand Slams, for these competitions. They used to say that he's Iceman because even under pressure, you'll never see him lose his cool. If you compare him to Joe McEnroe was another great tennis player, but his reputation was not just that he was a great player, but that he had a terrible temper on court. I mean, if he lost, he would literally throw his racket in the air or throw it on the floor, and he used to get fined a lot because of that temperamentalism. So Björn Borg was the kind, even if he lost a point or anything, he would cool down because he'd practiced and taught himself, in his preparation to keep calm, to be gracious. So why is this important? As a moderator, sometimes things will happen in the session. You may get a hacker, you may get technical problems, something may happen, the screen may freeze. You need to be able to stay calm and cool. So in your preparation, remember, you need to know how to manage remember I said your thermometer, manage the audience, manage the dynamics. So stay calm, stay cool, learn to take things in your stride. Don't get flustered by changes. You are the one the audience is looking to see what's going to happen. If you panic, for example, imagine something happens. Oh, you're supposed to go to a commercial break, or you're supposed to have a presentation come up and there's a technical problem with that person's laptop. And you're just sitting saying, as a moderator, like, what's happening? What's happening? Guys, I don't know what's happening. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. I don't know. What would the audience think? They're thinking, oh, this is so disorganized. Nobody knows what's happening. This is very disorganized. So that's what the audience thinks. This is disorganized. Nobody knows what's happening. This is confusing. And then the audience starts to think, I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. And if nothing happens, I'm gone. But when you have a moderator, it's like, apologies, everyone. We have a technical issue at the moment. We're resolving it. So please don't go away because we will be connected in a short while. But in the meantime, I want to know, where are you watching in from today and what's happening in your location? Is there anything interesting you can share with us today? Kenny, all the way from India. Wow, nice to have you with us, Kenny. Tell us a bit more. So what does the audience think? Oh, okay, this is nothing big. There's nothing major. It's okay. They'll resolve it. And now we focus on something else more fun, like let's get to know each other on the chat. So this is the job of a moderator. Stay calm, stay cool, be confident so that you're able to ensure that if anything happens, you're in tune with the audience and you can keep, your thermometer measuring how everyone is going, and you can just keep things flowing. Okay. So remember Björn Borg, anytime you get maybe frustrated, worried, anxious, afraid, remember, part of your preparation is the mindset to help you to stay cool and calm under the difficult situations, right? So preparation is key. And I gave the example of Mohsin because he really practiced hard and it came across. Honestly, a lot of the times when I have a script, I try to learn it to the fullest extent as much as possible. And that's why I practice so much so that on the day, even if it's a 2-hour moderation and I have 5 speakers, But honestly, I barely look at my script. I look at it now and again. So people are like, wow, she seems to know what she's talking about. It's because the script is in my head. Okay. So preparation is key. I prepare myself what I want to wear, you know, where I check the location, I check my technical capabilities and so forth. All right. So owning it. This is very important. So you planned, so you have your, you've done your checklist, you've done your agenda, you've done your script. Now you're preparing for the big day, okay? Like Mohsin today, his debut, you're preparing for the big day, and you did it by making sure you know the location, you're grooming, your dress code, you're practicing, you're making sure you're mentally ready for it. Now is the day of the session. The session has arrived. You need to own it, okay? Because you can do all the preparation in the world you want to do, but on the day when you're live, okay, this is when all of that, now you can't rely on that. You need to own it. It's all down to confidence, improvisation, and having fun. A good moderator knows it's not about them, okay? So forget about being self-conscious. This is where forget about worrying, oh, did I make a mistake? Did I say something I shouldn't have said? Or I forgot my script, I forgot this line. Forget about it. Be confident. You may have messed up a line or part of the script or the order. Just regroup. That's why I showed you Bjorn Borg. Just regroup and get back in there. Just regroup and just say, hang on one second, audience. I just need to verify with this information that what we have next is this. You have a quick look. Yes, this is up next. So you don't look, people are thinking, oh, they don't know what she's doing. They're thinking, oh, there's so much going on that she just needs to make sure that we're on the right track. So it's how, again, the confidence just to say, it's okay, I made a bit of a mess, but I'm going to check it so that we're back on track, and we're back on track. So don't be self-conscious. Stick to the script as much as you can. And even if you forget and you jump a line, just go back and check and come back and reconnect with your audience. It's not about you. Remember, I said the spotlight is not on you. The spotlight is on the speaker, on the topic, and the audience, to make sure that all of that comes out as a beautiful, beautiful experience for everyone, right? With lots of impact and a lot of knowledge gained. When you've done the script and when you've practiced and when you have this confidence, then you can improvise. When we speak about improvisation now, improvisation is when you're now able to add humor, you're able to add lib. So ad lib is like you're able to add a few more things in between that maybe were never in your script, but because you're now confident, you've prepared, and you're reading the mood. Okay, so for example, in one of the sessions I held before with a few speakers, because of our assessing the mood of the audience, I was able to say, audience, remember, keep this in mind for later. We need to come back to this point because I know a lot of you audience coming from this region have something to say about this point. You see, I've improvised. I've now brought in the audience, engaged them, and now I'm tying everything together. So the ability to tie in everything is improvisation because you've prepared, you're confident, and you know what you're talking about. And that is what helps your personality as a moderator come across to the audience, okay? Because now you can show your own personal style, own personal flair. However, remember not to get sidetracked. Remember, in the role of a moderator, I said you don't allow the conversation to get out of track or to be derailed. Don't get so caught up in improvising that you get sidetracked. You know what I mean? So keep it intact. So an example would be, we had a session with Lisa Jones, a coach and CEO of Now Lead from the US. And if you watch that video between me and her, I did a lot of improvisation because her topic was so amazing. So she was talking about leadership styles, and I was like, oh, Nelson Mandela from my country, a former president now passed away, Nelson Mandela, he was a great leader. So I improvised it. That was never in my script. And she's like, yes, I know, right? He was a great leader. So I improvise because I know the topic. I'm confident, I know the script, but I'm able to interject some real life experiences into the conversation to keep it lively and keep it interesting for the audience, okay? Without sidetracking, okay? And if you find that you're sidetracking, let's say, and you find the conversation is going this way because of your improvisation, you say, well, it was fun to, dabble in that for a little bit, but let's come back to our topic. Let's come back to our theme. We don't want the audience to lose out on the key thoughts and takeaways that we want to share. So let's come back to what we're talking about before we sidetrack. So you see what I did, I just acknowledged that we sidetracked, but I'm bringing everyone back to the point that now we have to focus on the theme. All right. So even if you sidetrack and if you derail, simply just come back and say, well, that was a great side conversation. Let's get back to the topic, everyone, so that we can continue with our theme. And you do it with a smile. And that's the third point, having fun. You've done all the preparation. Mohsen was so nervous, and I know that he was so focused on getting his script right and the words out. But I said, Mohsen, have fun, smile. It's so important to smile because the people feel more comfortable with you. They also enjoy it. They think you're having fun, and that makes them feel like, oh, this is actually quite a nice session. So having fun is important, okay? Whether you've made a mistake, just enjoy. Nobody's going to remember that you made a mistake, but they're going to remember that, you know what, you made them laugh, you made them smile, you had a good time, and you gave them good vibes. So ensure that you have fun. Most of the people, as I said, most of the time, the other people on the other side of the mic don't know that you're nervous, don't even know that you're not experienced, they don't even know that you've not done this before. So make sure that you smile and you're comfortable and you're confident and enjoy yourself, because it's only for like an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum when it's virtual. When it's obviously in a face-to-face format, it could be for the whole day. And trust me, when it's a face-to-face format and it's the whole day, and you have to keep smiling and you have to be, cordial and making jokes, and you really need to have a tough mindset, because the mood goes down after lunch, especially in a workshop or sessions where they've provided refreshments. People are going to come back after the break sleeping a little bit, sleepy, so you need to keep the energy up. You need to be the one up and down. And that's why, to be honest, I enjoy exercise, because exercise as a moderator, you need something that can keep you need to have energy. Okay. So endorphins are good for you so that you can feel energetic. You don't get tired easily. You can maintain that level of concentration. It's like studying. You've seen, if you eat a chocolate, then you eat food, then you go back to your books, you're too sleepy. You don't want to do anything. So you got to make sure that you're really in tune, alert throughout. As if you do face-to-face, if you're doing public speaking, if you're doing team building, if you're doing an online moderation as well. So keeping your mind active and your body active actually goes hand in hand to ensure that you have that level of energy and level of stamina, mental stamina as well. Okay, so owning it, having confidence, being able to improvise, and having fun. Right. So we're done with the session. We've said to everyone goodbye, thank them for attending, had a great Q&A session, thank the speaker, and the session is now closed. We then go into what we call the debrief, all right? The debrief is as critical as the plan and simple. Why is the debrief important? The debrief is important because in the debrief, this is how you come back and say to, either you call you. So in the debrief, you either have the speakers, you have the moderator, you have the organizer, anybody who is part of the event, basically, not the audience, but anyone part of the event. And you ask them, okay, so how do you feel? How did it go? What happened? What did we learn? What could we have done better? Could we improve on? Okay, what do we need to do next? A debrief is important for a moderator, because that's where you get feedback from people like, what? I feel like you didn't follow the audience well enough. I feel like you didn't take enough questions from the audience. I think that you may have skipped some very important questions. Oh, and you didn't let this other speaker speak as well. You let this other speaker speak more than other speakers. And also when we should have taken a break at this point. So this is good for you as a moderator to know, this is what I need to improve, this is what I need to do better. And they will say, you actually messed this question up, you weren't clear here. This is very important. Okay, I think we have a hacker. Hacker, go away. Hacker, go away. So this is why the debrief is important, okay? Because the debrief helps us to understand what went well, what didn't go well, what we need to do to improve, and how we can improve, and what do we do next. Maybe the session went so well, so what do we do next? For example, we had the session before and we had some technical difficulties, and we said, okay, we want to do it again. Let's do it again. And look, today we have more people than we had last time, so which is great. I'm happy. And also we have a live experience of someone who's followed the steps, who's done the coaching with me, and is now a moderator. So you can actually see that this is something that is realistic. It can happen. So between the last session and this session, we've improved. I've added more live examples for you, and given more practical examples for you. So we've added and enhanced the session this time around versus the last time around. So this is why a debrief is very important. Okay, and after the debrief, you take all the learnings and then you incorporate it, as I've given an example, into the next session. And that's when you now start to get better and better and better as a moderator. Okay, so that's it from me. Simple steps, plain and simple. Preparation is key, owning it, debriefing, and then you're set to go. Thank you so much. I'm done. I think I've done my 1 hour. Yes, Mohsin? Is it 1 hour or just over 1 hour?
Yes, you have. Just on time. Perfect.
I'm just on time. Yeah, see, experience. Thank you so much. I'm done and ready for Q&A. So Mohsin, I hand back to you now.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Ayanda, for this wonderful session. It was awesome. We have learned a lot, and I believe just everyone has learned so much as regards the art of moderation. Just as I have been able to, put some notes to the little that I knew before now. So and we should at this moment be convinced that we do not just need moderation because we want to be public speakers alone. In our place of work, we have to give some, presentation. We have to give verbal reports to our bosses at work, and this will also need us to, put to use, exhibit some of the skills of moderation. So it's a wonderful one. Thank you very much, Mark, for this opportunity. So we have some questions. We have some questions for us. Someone asked that, should I just read all the questions or we take them one after the other?
Yes, you're the moderator. You decide how you want to do it.
Okay, cool. So the first question here is that, Ma, you said moderation is a skill. So for a person who haven't spoken publicly before now, how can such person gain confidence? So that is the first question, Ma.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear that, Mohsin. Say that again.
The person mentioned that you said during the presentation that moderation is a skill. So how does one gain confidence in that skill?
Oh, great. Thank you for that question. So how does one gain confidence in the moderation skill? Please, Mr. Hacker, go away. You're rude. Stop it. Can you see this person scribbling on the, anyway, let's ignore them. So how does one gain confidence as a moderator? Simple. You practice you follow the steps, then you do your debut like Mohsin, and then you just keep doing more and more speaking engagements, okay? But to be able to do more and more of these moderation sessions, you need to be able to show your potential, okay? Like I said, with Mohsin, he really committed. He was consistent and he was committed. I could see he had competence, but he was consistent and committed. And he's the one who reached out and said, train me, help me to be better. And now he's had his debut, and we will have a debrief after this, and then he will incorporate the feedback, and then we will give him another opportunity for him to do more. So the more sessions you do, the better you become, the more confident you become. But the starting of the confidence starts with the planning. Start with the processes and the steps that I gave you, and ensuring that you practice. I mean, let's ask Mohsen. Mohsen, how do you feel after following the steps that we discussed in the coaching? How do you feel? Do you not feel more confident?
I feel more confident actually, because I feel since this is something I've practiced a while, and I should be able to replicate what I practiced on.
Exactly. So you feel more confident because you see the script is going the way you planned it, right? And that's the thing. So this is why practice is key.
Yes,
following those steps is key. And then we give you the opportunity to moderate a session. There's plenty of sessions to moderate. Trust me, we want moderators. I want to build a team of moderators for the masterclass initiative. This is why we're having the session. However, we need to see that consistency. We need to see that commitment, and we need to see that potential. And again, it's you are the one who has to own this. I'm available to support you, to coach you, but you're the one who has to take the initiative and say, I want to do this. And I show you, like Mohsen today, this is his debut, but he's so comfortable because we followed the steps. We spent time one-on-one, and now he's done it live. So his fear is gone. Whatever anxiety he had at the beginning, it's now gone. So the next step will be a bigger session, which with a bigger audience, with a different speaker, and then he will again be tested. There'll be a debrief, get feedback. He will then incorporate that for the next session. Practice makes perfect. Going back to the example of Bjorn Borg, he practiced so much before the Grand Slam, so that on the day of the Grand Slam, he was just following through the motions of what he'd already prepared. And because he was so well prepared, if he had to improvise, he mentally prepared himself for any possibilities or any challenges that could happen. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, next question. Hello?
Okay,
next
thank
question.
you very much. Politely interrupt the speaker.
I can't hear you, Mohsen.
Did you get that, ma?
No.
Can you hear me now, ma?
Yes.
Okay. How do you politely interrupt a speaker as a moderator?
How do you politely interrupt the speaker as a moderator?
While he is extending beyond the time allotted for him to speak.
Oh, great. Very good question. So what you need to do then, when you have the speaker going on and on and on, and basically dominating the conversation, that's why it goes to say to you, being when you're more experienced, you feel more, you need to take command. Okay, as a moderator, that's why we started off with that list of what a moderator does. You own the session, basically you managing the session. Remember, there was a point that says you manage the rules, the how the session is moving. Okay, so what you need to do is, when someone is over speaking or taking too long, you jump in and say, excuse me. So you jump in and say, Terry, I'm sorry, I have to cut you there because we need to really move on to Paul's point next. I know that you have a lot to say in the subject, and we hope to come back to that in a short while, but really need to move over to Paul right now because Paul has something really critical to share with us. Yeah? So this is how you should be able to handle it. Okay, I hope that helps. So you just say, Terry, I have to stop you there. Apologies. We need to move over to Paul's point because Paul has something to say on the point that you just mentioned. I know you have a lot to say. And again, Smiley, I know you have a lot to say on this, but it's very critical to maintain the flow of conversation. And Paul has this point to say. We may come back to that later. I can't promise, but let's move over to Paul. Thanks, Terry. So that's how you do it. Okay. Thank you so much for moving the
awesome.
hacker.
So thank you, Mark. We have another question here.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, are these tips that you gave us as regards moderation, are they specific to online events? So maybe if we have a physical event, would there be some other tips that we have to take into consideration? And for instance, let me quickly add this. As a moderator, hello, can you hear me, Ma?
Yes, I'm there, yeah? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, Ma?
Yes, I'm here. So the first question,
me.
what is it? The first question, I'm not clear. The first question?
Okay, the question is, are these tips specific to online moderation? Do we have some additions to take note of while we are moderating offline, say a physical event?
First of all, I'd like to ask the person if they were here for this entire session or they just joined, because I think I clarified that there's different formats, right? I clarified that there's different formats of moderating, but the tips that I'm sharing with you are relevant for moderation in general, despite what session you're doing it in, okay? So it's not about the format, it's about the moderator, what the role of the moderator is. When you understand what the role is, then the format is the second step. How do you then need to utilize the skills and the responsibilities? You adapt them to each of the format. So right now, this is an online format, okay? But if you do face-to-face, the same steps would need to happen. It's just that the interaction with the audience is much more different. A live setup requires you to maybe walk around a bit more, maybe speak to an audience member directly, okay? And then, there's hands in the audience. You need to manage a live crowd. Whereas online is different. People can use a chat box. People can, raise their hands. People can, the online moderator can identify people to speak. So the role of the moderator doesn't change in terms of the responsibilities, doesn't change based on the format. But what they do is they adapt what they need to do for the different formats. So it depends on the format. So for team building, for example, the same responsibilities are there. It's just that the difference this time is that maybe you don't need a script because it's going to be free flowing, it's casual. However, you need to have an agenda. You need to have a checklist. Yeah, you need to be the one managing, the dynamics, managing the energy. You need to be the one who allows people to speak at certain times. You need to remind people, manage the time. Okay, guys, you have only 10 seconds or 10 minutes for this particular activity, and then you need to be done. You are the one who opens up the session, even if it's live or even if it's online. Mohsen, as the moderator, had to open the session, had to introduce the speaker. It's the same as live, right? It's just live. You may be able to say, welcome, Ayanda, here with us today. Thank you for joining us. You flew all the way from Dubai to be with us in Lagos. We're so happy you could be here. Tell us, how did you find it? This is live, right? Whereas online, like, we have with us a facilitator today, Ayanda Moropane, all the way from Dubai. Nice to have you with us. Please go ahead. The floor is yours. Audience, please keep yourself muted while she's speaking. So the role has not changed, but the format, you adapt your style and you adapt the role to the format. Yeah? I hope that answered the question.
Okay, that's clear. Yeah, it does. Thank you very much for that. So
okay, next question.
Next question we'll be taking is what if I practice? So the questioner says, what if I practice very well before the event, but on the event I become really nervous? How do I manage the nervousness?
Oh, that's a nice question. Absolutely. And that can happen, guys. On the day you get so nervous, right? You get so shaken, okay? It really can happen, especially when you're new. When you're new to moderation, there's so much expectation, right? You feel there's a lot of expectation for you to deliver, and you want to make a good impression. It's like an interview. When you go for an interview, and it's your first big job, you're very nervous, you're very shy, you want people to like you, you want to make a good impression, you don't want to make a mistake, okay? So how I normally deal with nerves is that I pray. Before we start, I normally say a prayer, okay? To calm myself, to ask God to bless me, to help me get through this. And then, you know, I just tell myself, this is not about me, this is about making sure that the audience and the facilitator and everyone involved really gets a lot of value out from the session, learns a lot and enjoys it, okay? That's why I said, remember, it's not about you. Always remember, it's not about you. So people don't notice your nerves unless you are so nervous, like you're literally shaking, you can't talk, okay? But this is why, again, practice and preparation is so important. One of the tips I gave Mohsen, I said, Mohsen, stand by. Once you've done your script, look at yourself in the mirror. I said, go and stand by the mirror, okay? If you like what you see, then the audience will. But I said, if you don't like what you see, then the audience will not like it. But you go stand in the mirror and you speak. Then you see, I mean, when you stand in the mirror, that's when you see, oh my goodness, I look scary. I look like I'm angry, you know, like, oh, I'm speaking well, but I look angry. I look scary. So exactly, he's laughing. He said, no, look at the mirror, practice. And then when you get used to seeing you talking, everyone will get used to seeing you talking because you are comfortable with yourself. You need to be comfortable with yourself. So stand by the mirror, and you may be feeling shy, but stand and say, hi everyone, welcome. My name is Ayanda, and I'm so excited to be moderating the session today, all the way from Dubai. It's such a great day today, and I know that we have a great speaker with us today, and I'm excited. So I do this and look at the mirror and I say, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I need to change this. I need to speak slower. So when you do that, you say, I need to speak slower, or I'm too fast, or I'm stuttering. So do that yourself to yourself. So by the time you come and you're moderating and you're presenting, I promise you, you'll feel much less nervous than you were. You'll still be nervous because maybe it's your first time and you want to make a good impression and you're scared because this is live and you don't get a chance to do it again or make up for any mistake. But once you practice looking at the mirror, I can tell you minimum 50 to 70% of the nerves will go. Okay, I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, very well. So let's take one or two more questions.
Okay.
So the questioner says that what about if the topic for discussion was just given to an individual, a moderator at the event, the venue of the event?
What if the topic was given? So what if the topic was given on the day?
Yes, on the day, just at the venue, and you are asked to moderate the program. So how does one manage the event?
First of all, we go back to plain and simple. Checklist. That's why we have a checklist, okay? Checklist will make it clear that I need to know date, time, speakers, topic. I did say if topic changes, and it can happen, for example, I wanted to speak on this today, then tomorrow I say, no, I actually don't want to speak about that. I want to speak about something different. That can happen. But it's your responsibility to confirm and reconfirm. Yeah? Confirm and reconfirm. Don't take it that because once we've agreed, it's done. Come back and say 2 days before, a day before. I would normally say 2 days before. A day before is cutting it close. 2 days before, come back and say, Mr. Speaker, Miss Speaker, are we still on the same topic? And they say yes. If they say, by the way, I've changed, they say, great, what's your topic now? Thank you for letting me know in time. Then I go back and then I revise. So confirming, reconfirming. That's why I said the role of moderator is so critical. Don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted, okay? That you can just do this and wing it. That's why I said don't wing it. Planning is so critical, yeah? Be ahead of the situation by planning in advance, okay?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Ma. So someone requested, I think this should have been on a personal grant. The person requested if you could review his or her CV. I think that's the request here. So, but I will just
Sorry,
say that
can you
you
say
should
that?
reach
Can
out
you say
to
that a bit
Mrs.
louder, Mohsin? I
Ayanda.
can't get that. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay, okay. The person mentioned is just a request, so to put that could you review his CV? So I think that should have gone on a personal ground with you. So maybe the person would have to reach out to you on your social media.
Yes, can they
platform. So
connect with
probably.
me on LinkedIn? And then I can help them with that for sure.
Okay, so just reach out to Mrs. Ayanda Moropane on LinkedIn. So Ayanda Moropane, that's the name on LinkedIn. You connect with her and you table your request to her. So thank you very much, Mrs. Ayanda, for this wonderful.
I think we have one more question. Mohsin, I will take 2 more questions. Okay.
Okay, Ma.
Yeah.
Let me scroll. Okay, okay. I think there is a question here saying that can a shy person be a moderator and how? Did you get that, Ma?
Yes, nice question. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know why? Because it's a skill. It's not that you have to be born with it. It's a skill, and skills can be learned. In fact, can I tell you, some of the people who in the entertainment industry who come across as very loud and brash and out there, privately, they are very shy. They're very introverted. So moderation actually helps you to develop, I would say, like a second persona. You know what I'm saying? You can be like, do have an alter ego. They call it an alter ego, all right? I don't know if you know what an alter ego is. Like, you have 2 sides to your personality. You know, you can be this introverted person privately, but for work purposes or for maybe professional purposes, you need to be an outgoing, outstanding person. So I have like a friend of mine, and he's naturally an introverted person, but in his work, you'd never say that. You know, he's very bold, he's very outgoing. So again, I would say that it's not because you're shy. No, it's skills that you can learn. And it's again a way of developing an alter ego, an alternative personality, which you use for professional reasons. Okay. Now, when you do that, you need to be careful, because unfortunately, some people can take that very seriously, can start to behave like that alter ego in real life. Okay. So let's not do that. It's just a professional identity that you adopt simply just to, you know, have that confidence, have that presence, and be able to deliver. Okay. So is for a shy person, it could be their alter ego, that they become this very outgoing person just for professional reasons, but personally they don't change who they are. They're still very shy and introverted because that's naturally who they are. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. So let's take this one more question. And the person mentions that about the dress code. Yeah, I think you mentioned something in the discussion about the dress code. I should be professional.
Yeah.
So the person is just asking that can it be casual? So can the dressing be casual while you are asked to moderate a program? So that's the question.
Okay. The nice thing, okay, is that with online, you can get away with it. I mean, online now people make jokes that you can come wearing a work shirt and a tie, and then you're in your pajamas. So yes, online you can get away with casual. I mean, I'm wearing just a black H&M t-shirt. As you can see, I'm wearing a black H&M t-shirt. That's all, right? It looks clean, it looks neat, it looks tidy, it looks simple. And then this, so I go back to, it's not about looking glossy and expensive. It's about looking clean, professional, neat. Okay. and tidy. That's very important. Like I said, I'm wearing simple black H&M t-shirt. So you could be wearing a formal white shirt. That's okay. And then you're wearing your pajamas if you want at the bottom, or jeans or shorts, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm actually wearing slippers. I'm wearing my house slippers right now. Yes. So I'm comfortable, right? But when you are live, that's when you bring your, your nice suit, your nice classic dress. Let me give you a tip. Okay. Interviewing for future, anyone who wants to, have a good professional career, you're gonna go through a lot of interviews. Please ensure that you invest in one good suit and one very classic, elegant, professional dress for ladies. Okay, so dress for ladies and a suit for men. You can even have a suit, ladies, a suit and a dress. Okay, but invest in one, right? It can be a little bit expensive, but as long as it's quality, it will last. And you know that this is your go-to for every key event. So that particular dress, you then can even use it or suit for your face-to-face moderation with an audience, with a live audience, whether in an auditorium or a workshop. You then can wear that, and you know that it makes you feel, it's like power dressing. Power dressing is not, it's to give you that boost when you're wearing the suit. Trust me, you know that no one can mess with you on that day. You feel confident. You walk in there, you're like walking on water. You're feeling good. And even if you make a mistake, you look so good, no one is going to notice your mistake, right? So invest in one good suit or dress that you can use for these big moments in your life, whether it's being a moderator or a public speaker for an event, or facilitator, or going for a big interview. Okay, so I really, really encourage that. So for live events, you need to dress professional. You need to dress smart. For ladies, please, for live events, no cleavage. I don't care how beautiful and how blessed God has given you, okay? That's not professional, all right? People are coming to look at you as a professional person, as a credible person. You don't want them to be looking at anything else but listening to what you're saying and looking at your presentation. So please be respectful and don't follow the celebrities. They're different. They're on another level. As a professional career person, come looking decent, okay? Covered, dignified, classy, elegant, look beautiful, but classy, elegant, professional. For gents, please, I know there's a fashionable trend now to come with pants rolled up and no socks and shoes and, all kinds of styles. Again, please be mindful of the audience, the theme, the location, the type of people who'll be attending, the type of topic. If you're talking to millennials, maybe at a fashion event, that's okay. If you're talking maybe to an arty group or music group, that's okay. But if it's a professional environment with professional people, please come looking, again, crisp, clean, dignified, elegant, and professional. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. Yeah, definitely, Ma, definitely. So the last question here, although it's outside the discussion, but I think it could be beneficial. So the person said that, what do you do when you have an ACA, just like we had a moment ago? So in this session, so what do we do in that regard? Is there a way
have an anchor,
protect the whole event? Yeah,
a hacker.
Someone hacking into our online event.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help that. And I mentioned it actually earlier, that you will have things happen. And that's why I like the example of Björn Borg. Stay calm. You saw me. I made fun of it. I was like, shoo, hacker, go away. I rebuke you in Jesus' name. You make fun of it. Okay. It's a serious thing, but don't allow it to derail you, to distract you from what's happening. Okay. Either make fun of it, tell someone to attend to it, but keep the conversation flowing. Things will happen. All right. What the worst thing you want is, some facilitators are not, they can be smart, but they're not good at change, and they're not good with dealing with situations changing rapidly. So you find that something will happen, maybe the mic will switch off, or someone will speak in the background, and they get irritated immediately. So that for me is not professional, because remember, things will happen. So just stay calm and say, guys, unfortunately we have some unnecessary disruptions, can you mute? Or please, if you're not able to stay connected long enough, can you just go offline, watch the recording, because this is being recorded and we will share it with you via our social media platforms. Just stay cool. Remember your role as a moderator, and that's why it's always key to go back to remember what your role is. It's your role to make sure that distractions, deviations, you maintain and control. You are there to make sure that the program starts and ends and flows, and the audience and the participants involved get the knowledge out, the insights out, get to share what they're called to share, and makes this a valuable and worthwhile learning experience. So people say, I really learned a lot, I enjoyed that, I want to come back. But if you're going to let these little small distractions derail you and deviate you, then you lose track. Then whatever momentum you've gained, you lose it, and then the session, then even if you started well, the session ends on a bad note. So don't allow that to happen. Keep control. That's why I say the mind is important as a moderator. You stay alert to everything that's going on, okay, so that you are able to make sure that you manage the program from start till end. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful session with you. We've really learned so much. I would say, even outside the discussion for the day, we learned some interview tips, and I think this is quite essential to job seekers there. So thank you very much for dishing out all those. And maybe this could have been something that we would have paid massively for. These people organize trainings like this, and you would have to invest so heavily for it.
Yes.
But then you are availing us this at no cost alongside Get Jobs. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's really a privilege. And for every one of us that we are part of this event today, I want to believe that we have taken one thing or the other home. And as Mrs. Ayanda mentioned during the session, practice is key. So we ensure that at every opportunity that we have, we put this to practice, because it will just remain the way some other skills are with us if we do not put them to practice. The tips have been given to us. It's only left for us now to see to how we are going to use them to make ourselves better. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming this day for this session. We want to see all of us in the coming sessions next week. Stay connected to Get Jobs. Stay connected with Mindz Connect Masterclass Initiative. Let's follow all those on the social media platform. And we'll be glad we did, because we are going to be getting prompt information as regards things that will make us better personally, professionally, and in fact, in some of those things that we really anticipate in our future. So thank you everyone for making us time to be here. I remain your humble moderator, not saying it till we meet. Say bye. Thank you.
And everyone, thank you, Mohsen. You did such an amazing job. Before you all go, thank you, Mohsen. You are amazing. I'm so proud. Congratulations on your debut. You did a fantastic job.
Man. Thank you very
well
much.
Done. Well done. Thank you so much, engineer. Thank you, everyone. There's some questions I couldn't answer. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer those questions and support you with your CV reviews and whatever else you would like to discuss. Thank you. Take care. God bless. Thank you, Mohsen. Well done. Thank you, engineer. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.